Boom, baby. We are live. Welcome to Rule Zero. And today we're talking about how Meghan Markle controls Prince Harry. This is, quite frankly, just devastating to watch. Pathetic. I'm just going to go on the record permanently and say that I never, ever thought Harry was an alpha male. And I think this is what happens if you don't like. I think Harry got all the tail that he wanted to in the past because of his fame and fortune. But without the red pill, fame and fortune will only get you so far. It's only a matter of time before you bite the bullet. And I'm not talking about suicide or anything, but before the system gets you, some chick gets you.
Oh, it'll be suicide.
Yeah, and I'm I roll Tomasi, Roy, Troy, Francis, John Fitch, and Sterling Cooper. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. How's everybody doing this morning?
Hey, good.
All good.
Vegas.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
Good stuff. What are our general thoughts of this whole situation here? Because it's just, I mean, for me, it's like I'm not even rich or famous, and I get tons of booty, and just to see that like this guy, so pathetic, just to see like such talent and just squandered, like
potential wasted.
Well, John Vogie's put in the chat, Harry was dealt the best cards you can imagine, better than being a 10 as a woman, and he still wasted it, which I think is kind of sums it up, really.
Oh my God, so
true. Was there any internal issues with Harry and his family? There's a lot of rumors. I mean, it's the royals. Yeah. It's not like we're talking about, some like squeaky clean.
Well, I mean, I think he fell victim to an ultra predator, and that's this Meghan Markle chick.
I think Harry had to come from somewhere. He had to be developed as a beta from somewhere.
Yeah,
and there's rumors that he's not even Charles's son.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Troy, do you know anything about that?
Like, he could have been,
well, it's certainly
in the family, and then the family, he's raised basically by a single mom inside of the royal family.
Well, it's certainly a very persistent rumor, and I mean, he's got the ginger hair, which is the same color hair as this guy, this rugby player who is allegedly supposed to be the father. So I don't think that there's ever been any sort of conclusive proof around that, but it's certainly something a lot of people say. And I was watching actually somebody else on a live stream yesterday, a British bloke, and he was saying that in his view, and I'm not saying I subscribe to this myself, but he thought the royal family actually wanted to push Harry out because of that, because actually he wasn't a true blood member. But as I say, it's all unproven, it's all speculation. But
where does the red hair come from?
Well, this is it. This is why people think it, because Diana was allegedly having an affair with a rugby playing dude who had that kind of hair and
looks a lot like him. There's a lot of videos out that comparing pictures of that guy to Prince Harry, and it's like, I gotta say, it does look pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
not a lot of red hair in the Windsor family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's not a single redheaded person in their family. I'm like, I'm not a genealogist or anything, but I mean, I specialize in women's deception, and I don't care how much of a fucking saint Prince Diana was painted as. It doesn't seem to add up. I want to go back to this. I just saw this here, just tweeted out by Megyn Kelly on Twitter, and she says here, after Oprah interview, only 3 in 10 people see Meghan Markle favorably, and more people dislike Harry than like him. A new low for both of them. This is what happens when you try to take a whore and make her a housewife.
It's interesting. It's interesting that poll though, because I read that, and if that's the same poll, it was done in the UK, so they're looking specifically at UK, and it says that Harry's popularity is plummeted, but hers has plummeted significantly more. But what's even more,
chick have.
Well, she didn't. Some people are on board, some people aren't. But what's really interesting is that it's also divided by age. So you've got the 18 to 25-year-old demographic who are, generally speaking, or they're more on board with Team Meghan and Harry. And then you've got the older it gets, and you've got the over 65s, and they are a majority They don't like them. They don't believe it. They're not feeling it at all. So it's really interesting how it's split in that way between the more sort of woke, Generation Z, maybe millennial type people versus the older generations.
Look, this girl is a trash bag American whore. I'll just say it. We're on my channel. We can be everything, okay?
Yeah.
She's a trash bag American whore. She has no class. She has no dignity. But you know what she does know how to do? She knows how to manipulate and control a situation very, very well, but has nothing to back it up. This is equivalent to that girl on Myron Gaines' show recently. She was on the channel and she was talking about how she's intellectually superior to all the men there because she's invested in Cardano. And I knew she was full of shit because Cardano was garbage. So I said to her, I said, wonderful. I called Myron up and I said, hey, can you ask her? I said, just why don't you tell me what's your favorite project on Cardano? She's like, well, there's several projects coming up and I really can't choose from them. And my really upcoming one that I like is this upcoming project called Goguen. And if you know anything about Cardano, there's 0 completed projects on the crypto since 2017. But she said it with such conviction. And that's what Meghan does. She's leading this boy around to demise. And the only reason she's having kids is to permanently put her claws in and always have her little financial safety net via the children. That's exactly what's happening right now, period.
Right. I was going to say she's very opportunistic. I mean, we talk about how, hypergamy makes women opportunistic to begin with, but then there are also social circumstances that either emphasize that or kind of lessen that. Just depends on what we're talking about and, what country, what socioeconomic level, blah, blah, blah. But here, of course, she is, what was she, like 36 when they got married? She'd already been married once before. She's with this guy and he is significantly younger than she is. And I can remember, and I went and called up all these tweets and I started retweeting them from like way back in like 2017, 2018. Whenever there was a story about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, when I was working with Pat Campbell, we would talk about this all the time. Like if there was a new like Prince Harry story, I rest assured every Friday we'd be talking about that, right? Because it was like, well, what's going on with this guy, Rolo? And it was like, this couple here is, people say, well, they're royals. Who cares? Who gives a rat's ass about them, right? Or it's like talking about the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. Why do you guys you guys sound like a bunch of bitches talking about this gossipy shit, right? And I'm like, no, this is more important than that, because these two people are emblematic of how the intersexual dynamics work in Western societies today. You've got this really overbearing, I would argue BPD or certainly NPD, borderline personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder. And there is probably a lot of crossover between those two in Meghan Markle. And when I saw her for the first time and I saw them getting together, I go, that chick has got BPD, because I have experienced that before. I've seen it happen before and I knew exactly what was going on. He was very mooning over her, certainly has one-itis for her, certainly thinks she's his soulmate. And it's this progressive thing. Like if you look at what's happened since they got married, or actually since they started dating and since they got married, she's isolated him. She's made him stop drinking, made him stop going on the royal pheasant hunt, made him sell off his very expensive collection of rifles, doesn't talk to his brother anymore, won't talk to that side of the family anymore, has renounced royalty, has renounced anything like his birthright, his last name, for crying out loud. She's still Meghan Markle and he's Prince Harry of Sussex. I don't even know what the hell his last name is, but he's no longer even a prince. Yet they want all this privacy and they go on Oprah Winfrey to talk about how they want the privacy. And I mean, she certainly has some kind of narcissistic personality disorder. That is given. I would argue also that she has borderline personality disorder.
One thing I thought was really interesting off the back of that, Rollo, in the interview itself, was when Oprah said, because Harry had said, well, Charles is trapped and William are trapped. They can't get out. I've managed to get out. And then Oprah said, so by that logic, then you must have previously been trapped in this terrible royal institution that you're describing. And, but you didn't, you seemed pretty happy at the time, i.e. pre-Meghan. And Harry paused for a minute and thought about it. And then he said, well, I didn't realize I was trapped at that point. And that seems to me quite disturbing because, like you said, yes, she has, or by this chain of events, he has become isolated from his family, from his birthright, from his country, and all of these different things. And what he's expressing is that previously he was totally happy with it. He didn't realize he was trapped. And when she came along, suddenly he saw the light. He realized that he was trapped. And that seems very, very troublesome to me, that he's got into that situation. Because as Oprah herself said, well, you seem perfectly happy before, so why is it a problem now, ever since Meghan's come along? And also actually just one more note thing. Also, did you remember that bit when Oprah said, so if you hadn't have met Meghan, then you probably would have still been in London with the royal family as a prince? And he said, yeah, I probably would. And again, this Meghan has come in and his life has just completely gone in a separate direction, and it's in a troubling way, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I have I just had a clip here a second ago. Where the hell did I put that?
One-itis is so powerful.
Yeah, especially I mentioned this on Wednesday's show, is that the sort of like the perfect storm is when you've got a guy who's very blue pill conditioned, like really sort of been raised in a bubble to believe in this romantic ideal kind of thing. If you look at the background, he's certainly a mama's boy. Although a lot of people, like when I first said, like back in 2017, 2018, I started saying, you know what, Harry's going down a really dark path here with this girl. And, you know, people just started throwing rocks at me. They're like, oh, he served in the military. You didn't serve in the military. He flew helicopters, man. And it was just like everybody wanted him to make him out to be something, you know, like I don't know him. I don't know him from childhood. So therefore I have no reason to talk about like what the patterns that I'm seeing right here. Right. But here we are, 2021. Every last thing that I said was going to happen in 2017, 2018 has happened thus far. The only thing that hasn't happened is he hasn't put a noose around his neck. And I don't think he's quite hit rock bottom just yet to do that. But at some point, it's like, I think what's going to happen is she will end up cheating on him, because she will be so dissatisfied with his degree of supplication and appeasement of her. He's too agreeable. I guess that's one of the big 5 personality traits. He's too agreeable, and that's really something of a beta male trait, right? He's too people pleasing, and it's like whatever she wants, she gets, you know. And he's of that mindset because he doesn't want to be that guy, right? He doesn't want to be the stereotypical, you know, alpha male dude who dominates the relationship.
No, dude, listen. The problem with her is this, guys. She's not lockdownable. She's like, we're all skipping the massive red flag. She's a fucking whore. I'll just say it. She's a fucking whore. She's been ran through. She's trying to use him to get to the top. She had him. You guys see when she had Harry pathetically try to elevator pitch the CEO of Disney to give Meghan a job?
Yeah, I saw that video.
I've got that clip real quick, and I just want to show it to the audience because this was a couple months ago. But you could see that this guy literally could have, if I could sleep with 2 women a day, this guy could sleep with like 25 women a day easily.
Real harem.
Yeah, he could have like a rotating door harem. He could fucking monetize it on OnlyFans and make millions of dollars, but he's too messed up in his blue pill mindset. And here, what's he led to? Now he is literally her little errand boy slave. And, quite frankly, I love to watch him suffer. I think he deserves it because this is just, I'll play the clip real quick. Then I have a question for the panel. Take a look at this. Let me know if you guys can hear this as well. Can you hear this? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could see him. They're working on the red carpet here. Prince Harry's like, do you know she does voiceovers? You could clearly tell by the body language that Bob Iger is not interested at all. And Harry is just pushing. But you could tell by Harry's body language, dude, he's very, very beta male.
But he doesn't want to do this.
He's what the black pill community would call a chin cell.
He doesn't want to do this. You can put him up to this. That's why he's so uncomfortable.
I don't think so. I think he's a little minion. I've never seen a Harry and looked at him and be like, wow, what an alpha male. Like I've never looked at the guy. and thought about that.
If he's not the prince, does he even get a sniff at that?
No, he's just another British fucking dork out there that's gonna have a tough time.
Yeah.
Troy, you're muted, buddy.
How dare you?
You know what I mean? But he's just another fucking British chump. Just another fucking.
But he was good back in the day. He was good back in the day, though, because do you remember years ago? I mean, there was a classic story. He went to Vegas with a bunch of mates and they stayed at the Encore and they were partying and drinking. And apparently him and some girls got naked and jumped in the pool and all of this kind of crazy stuff. And at that point, he was cool. And everybody in Britain were thinking, yeah, good on you, mate, because he was living the dream. He was like the royal guy,
right,
who probably wasn't going to become king and therefore had all of the benefits, but not the responsibilities. And he's kind of living the dream. And everyone's like, yeah, go on, mate. And then, of course, when, and then it all went downhill from there, really.
Yeah, I guess
about him doing party stuff. And he dressed as Hitler for.
Well, that was slightly misjudged.
What did he do?
Yeah. He dressed as an officer. There was a photograph of him that surfaced in a party wearing an SS uniform, which was much publicized, and obviously he distanced himself from that later. It was like a youthful indiscretion or whatever. But I mean, the point I was making was that I'm not saying he was like this massive alpha male or anything, but he was certainly having a good old time back in the day. I
agree, but
he
Troy,
knew his own value.
Listen, I think any guy born into fame and fortune could have a good old time. Like I said.
Oh yeah, of course. But the question is, why did he forego that? Why did he give it up rather than just enjoying it for all it's worth?
Because he again, it all goes back to him not being red pilled. I don't care. Look, at the end of the day, if you give a guy who's blue pilled endless access to pussy and money, he's still going to simp out. Okay, you could give a blue pill guy a red pill environment, but you can't put it in his heart for him to internalize. That's why Rollo always says. That's why I always say too. You have to internalize this game. You can't sit there. This is why I'm not a PUA. I've never supported PUA. None of that shit, because you don't internalize it. You just repeat the garbage that you think is going to get you laid, and you might get some, but then it turns into this whole children with dynamite thing where.
Rote memorization is what it is, as opposed to actually learning it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then, what happens, right? And I do this a lot with the guys in my community. I coach guys, and guess what happens? They go to the gym, they get really jacked, they get their money right, and the first girl that comes along and touches their ding dong, next thing you know, 1 year later, they come back fat, fucking dumped, upset. Yeah. What happened, man? I'm like, what happened, you idiot? You fucking didn't. You got one sniff of pussy and you sold out. You regressed to your blue pill ways, and that's what we're seeing here. No father figure, right? I mean, we have the fame and fortune, the pressure of being a good, having the blue pill pushed on you as well as being a public figure. You have all these publicists, and every little micro thing you do is broadcasted to the world. So,
the blue pill has conditioned a royal to pedestalize a woman, rather than seeing himself as the highest in the land. Like that's
Troy. What's his brother? What's the other brother, older brother with Kate Middleton? Prince William. Now, comparatively speaking, Prince William is much more alpha than Prince Harry, right? But is he just if you isolated him alone, how does he get the alpha and Harry gets the beta? We're talking about how he did, like John was just saying a second ago, his father certainly didn't instill it in him, but it seems to me that William is much more, at least in control of his, he knows where he's at and he knows what he's doing, and he leans into sort of the prince role, whereas Prince Harry he's westernized. He like I said, he is the living embodiment of blue pill beta Western masculinity. I'll do anything for her. She's older, I'll marry her. She's used up, I'll marry her. She's a B-list actress, I'll marry her. She's got BPD, I'll marry her. And I was saying this on my Wednesday show because I was trying to really kind of bring this around to BPD/MPD. personality disorders really in women, is that when you get that guy, when you get a Prince Harry, when you get a guy who is so blue pill and so beta that he'll do anything for the girl, that only emphasizes and exacerbates that BPD and that MPD, because it's like this, first of all, it's a negative feedback loop, but it's like this host / parasite relationship. And because I know I went through it myself when I was in my 20s, and it's like you become somebody else. And this is exactly when I was watching Prince Harry. I'm like, damn, I can't. It's like exactly what I was saying when I was writing the borderline personality disorder post that I had done on my blog way back in like 2012. And I was coming back to that, and I was looking at like the traits and the signs and the characteristics to look for when you're dealing with a guy. Like, cause I had to deal with guys who are also in this same situation as far back as like even 2009, and saying, you know, get out, you've got to get out. And they're like, oh, can I make it work? Can I? Because she's probably crazy in bed, right? But she's crazy out of bed. And so these guys want to really, really make it work because, as John was saying, it's like their dream girl. She gives them porn star sex when she's on her like up cycle, but when she's in her like manic depression, you know, when she's on her manic cycle, she wants to have sex with them and go crazy with them. But then she's also crazy jealous, and then she gets into that depressive cycle, that kind of like the down cycle of it. And what BPD / MPD women do is they get that guy into their own neuroses so that he believes that he's the source of her problems. And if he could just change, if he would just stop drinking, if he would just stop hanging out with those guys, if he would just stop, isolate him from his family, give up all your hobbies, sell off your collection of rifles, do all of the things that will in some way please Meghan, and then that will solve her problem. But it never solves the problem. It's like the woman gaslights him to think that he is the source of her neuroses. And so you get into this negative feedback loop until such a time where she can't get anything more out of this guy. And he is such a simp and such a beta and such a chump that even when she cuckolds him, he'll still stick with it. He'll still stay along. She's banging other guys. And he'll be like, well, you know, she's got to get that out of her system. She never, you know, she had a rough childhood. She's, her
She's
dad,
an oppressed minority. That's what you got to say these days.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm white. She's black. So she's better than me.
It will get to, well, then you're going to drag the race card into it as well. But she treats him like a kid, like a child. There's a part in that video where they're doing the interview, and they were I was Oprah and Meghan and Harry were in like this chicken coop. I guess they keep like custom chickens like that. And they're in there, and Oprah's talking to, it's a one-way conversation because Oprah and Meghan are the only ones doing any kind of talking, and he's just there to just sort of like say, yeah, we're royals. Because
I have a clip of that.
There, she doesn't exist, and he looks like a 10-year-old boy feeding these little chickens in his shorts while the adults are having their conversation. And it's like, damn, dude.
I got a 45-second clip here I want to show everybody, and I want to break down some of the body language nuances inside of it as well. Before I do that, real quick, Sam Whiskey, $4.99 super chat says, Troy, was Prince Harry highly influenced by Edward VIII? Yes or no?
Well, no, I don't think he was. I mean, I heard somebody joking about that the other day, saying the only way to get out of the royal family is to wife up an American divorcee. So it seems to be the only way out. But no, I don't think he was. I think it's just a kind of a coincidence. But
and then Al with the $2 super chat makes a great point. He says this really shows how toxic Western women truly are. I like viscerally hate this bitch. If she got vaporized in front of me by a fucking semi truck, I'd be like, fucking good riddance.
She's the embodiment. She is the effigy of Western, the collective of Western feminism, of Western gynocentrism right now. She is the poster girl for that.
I think we got
Charles Murray did a really good article in the New York Post, by the way. I'll link it in the chat. But Charles Murray is a British sort of right-wing, contrarian, sort of anti-woke kind of dude. But he wrote a really interesting article, and he basically said Meghan is a woke missile that's been launched from America right into the heart of the British establishment, which I thought was quite a good way of summing it up.
Take a look at this. Honestly, if I was a Brit, I'd be like, good riddance. Get that fucking piece of trash. Because she's a classless piece of garbage, in my opinion. Take a look at this clip we got here. 43 seconds. And you can see... just watch this entire engagement here, and you can understand what Rollo was saying when he says, really, this is a one-way conversation between Harry.
He's not even in the conversation for like half of the damn interview.
This is a conversation between Oprah and Meghan Markle, and you can see right here. Take a look here.
There was no guidance as well, right? There were certain things that you couldn't do, but unlike what you see in the movies, there's no class on how to speak, how to cross your legs, how to be royal. There's none of that training. That might exist for other members of the family. That was not something that was offered to me.
So nobody tells you anything?
No.
Nobody prepares you?
No, I mean, no, but even
there it is. No. Don't you dare speak up, my little servant.
Adults are talking.
Yeah. So she cuts him off, and then she reaches over. It pushes her hand right here. Actually, I can show you. She puts this hand over on top of him to establish dominance and to submit him. You could tell him I feel like he's a little disgusted here. We just really got to pile it on until he just gets fed up and reads the Rational Mail. But let me one more time here. Take a look. Take a look here.
There's none of that training. That might exist for other members of the family. That was not something that was offered to me.
So nobody tells you anything?
No.
Nobody prepares you?
No, I mean, but even down, but even down to like the national anthem. No one thought to say, oh, you're American. You're not going to know that. That's me late at night Googling, what's the national, I've got to learn this. I don't want to embarrass them. I need to learn these 30 hymns for church. All of this is televised.
Oh my God,
we were doing the training behind the scenes because I just wanted to make them proud.
So let's do a quick breakdown. Okay. I just want to show you guys. So
you're not late at night.
I want to get it. Okay. So if you take a look here, okay, here we are.
We have to learn about England. What was I supposed to do?
So what we have here is a billionaire talking to millionaires about how oppressed they are because of the patriarchy. Really, I'm really glad we got that summed up. But again, that's a blatant sign of disrespect. I guarantee fucking to you, Rollo's wife don't do that shit to him.
No,
Roy's girl, John's girl, none of Sterling's harem bitches do that. My girls don't do that shit at all. You're not gonna come and cut me off. You're not gonna come and try to establish dominance over me in a social situation. I don't like it. And girls who are like that, they're problematic.
It's a slight scene.
It's funny you have that, Rollo. I have that exact same thing queued up on my screen.
That's just a picture I have right there, and that is like half of the interview. She's like that with him.
Yes, and what we're trying to show you guys here is her hand is on top of his hand. You can pull back up, Rollo. Her hand.
She probably squeezes his hand every time he tried to talk.
Right. So her hand is on top of his hand right here, and this is her establishing dominance and control. Like when you give somebody a handshake, you could tell the person who has dominant handshake. They usually come over like and like when they shake, they shake with an authoritative over grip on top of the handshake. They don't put their hands out weakly like this, or a frail little weak hand. And what she's doing, she's so used to being in charge. If you've been studying the situation, you could just see this is a textbook example of how to not let your woman run the relationship. And she's running this right into the ground.
I want to bring that. You just put up a quick comment there with how she's like sort of a Diana substitute. Put this up real quick here.
This one here. All right, here we go. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I don't know who did this. This is not me, but somebody came up with these, and these are the comparisons. I'll click on these right quick. Okay. This is like, I didn't realize this until like this dude put this up there, but like, look at the optics here. I mean, so I'm wondering, are they doing this on purpose, or is she doing this? Because this is Diana versus like what she's wearing versus what Diana was wearing back in the 80s, I believe.
She's not that smart.
I don't think she's that smart either. But someone is trying to turn her into and these are actual shots. I mean, these are pulled from.
She's got to know that Diana was a very popular figure too. So like, it wouldn't make. I mean, if she's that manipulative of a person, if she is NPD, then that seems like something
that would make sense, right?
Or if she's not smart enough to realize that she might have to learn the English national anthem, and she might not be smart enough to like Google what Diana used to wear.
Well, there's an article I've just put in the chat called what's it called? It's she's a Freudian dream or Freudian nightmare or something like that. And it is Prince Harry is a Freudian dream. There's an article from Unheard I put in the chat really which covers this. And I mean, whether it's intentional or not intentional, who knows, right? But it's certainly very odd. It's certainly a bit creepy. And yes, you're right, because I think it was Sterling that said, obviously, or John, Diana was obviously an incredibly popular figure. And it does seem like she covets that sort of position. She wants to inhabit that space in the public consciousness, but without having done the service that Diana did, because Diana also stuck it out for a decent length of time and actually did some service as well. And it just seems like
Diana, that's why I think maybe that's what they're trying. Maybe that's why they're making those comparisons, because everybody hates Meghan and they're trying to cast her in that role so people will like her more.
She's very hateable.
That's what one of her handlers would have done. One of her handlers from because she's from America, so she's going to have some kind of fashion stylist who's like, okay, honey, we're going to put you in this dress, we're going to put you in this hat, and then the English people are going to love you. They're that gullible. And obviously, Troy didn't fall for it.
Well, I think here's the thing, right, as well. I mean, at the beginning, before all this kicked off, actually, if you look at the press coverage, and this is one of the things that Piers Morgan brought up, and he obviously, as you know, ended up getting fired this week from that show that he did. But one of the things he did was he put up all the press coverage from early in their relationship. And actually, when you look at it, it was overwhelmingly positive about Meghan. Because I think there was a feeling in Britain, well, this is kind of cool. She's young and she's, they perhaps overlooked certain things about her you might regard as red flags. But it was very sort of like, oh, this is cool. This is going to update the royal family. This is going to bring some new energy into the family, blah, blah, blah. So there was a lot of positivity around them. And the wedding as well, really, really popular. I mean, I didn't watch it because I was doing some other stuff. But most people, I remember being out in London on that day and the streets were empty. Everybody was watching that damn wedding. So there was a lot of good feeling towards her in the early part of the thing. And it started to go downhill, to be honest, when, from my recollection, when stories started to come out about her behavior and the way that she was being, her popularity started to wane and it started to go more negative.
Yeah, Rich will be right back. He was having some audio issues. But Meghan's wife is really down the gutter. I think so. Again, like I said, look, the worst way, and I'm so glad people are waking up to this, because I've been saying this for the longest time. The worst women on the planet are American women, period. They destroy houses, they destroy businesses, they destroy anything that they don't want to fucking deal with that doesn't align with their emotions. American women are the creators and founders of cancel culture, and they're the most disliked people in the world. If you travel around the world, everybody knows, like, oh, she's American, stay away from her. They're unlikable. And American chicks know that they're hateable themselves. And so what they do, they just embrace the fucking role and they just say, fuck it, I'm going to make some anarchy. And going back to all of this, this all goes back to the United States of America having a terrible parenting problem. And America is circling the drain. And this is why people aren't raising boys how to be boys. People aren't teaching girls how to be girls. Why the hell, if I was marrying some royal woman into the royal family, I wouldn't complain about, oh, well, now I have to be a millionaire. And so I had to get on Google and look up the national anthem.
That's the problem, is all women today look at marriage and children and all that stuff as like some kind of burden. I have to sacrifice. I'm giving up so much by sacrificing my life to do this. That's why they wait until they're 90 years old to get married or try to have kids, because they're selfish and they want to be selfish and they're just focusing on themselves. Like when I always wanted to have kids since I was little, I wanted to have kids. So like me thinking about having kids wasn't like, oh, I have to give up all this stuff that I get to do. It's like, I can't wait to get to have the kids and then I get to play with the kids. And then that's going to be fun being a dad. That was my attitude. It wasn't like, oh my God, it's so much work. I have to sacrifice getting drunk on Saturday nights and waking up at noon. Oh my God. Like, that's just not the mindset. And women that you meet who actually want to get married and have kids and be married, they have the similar attitudes. Like, they want kids. They're not thinking that if I have a kid, I have to give up my girls' nights out. I have to give up this. It's like, no, you're looking at marriage and family as an added benefit to your life. If you're not looking at marriage and children as an added benefit to your life like that, you need to next that person. They're always
the other thing to say is though that royal life in general is pretty dull, really. I mean, I've always felt like I'm kind of glad that I was never born into that, because just imagine having to play that. I mean, yeah, sure, there's benefits without doubt, but imagine having to play that role the whole damn time and everything. But if you're going to do it of your own accord, but I mean, she said on the interview that when they did the tour of South Africa, she said it was really tiring, it was really tough, stressful, whatever. And maybe that's true, but you know, you're either doing those tours or you're in the UK on a wet Wednesday in Norwich, you know, opening a children's ward in a hospital, or you've got to go and visit a factory or something like that. Well, you know, Meghan's not really on board with that, is she? It's not this kind of glamorous, starry type thing. You know, you have to go and talk to all these like blokes working in a factory, or you know, go to open an old people's home or something like that.
You got to be selfless, which
exactly
are not.
And also, she would have been playing second fiddle. Obviously, you've got the Queen and Philip. Then you've got well, I guess Charles and Camilla. Then you've got Wills and Kate, and they were going to have to play the fourth fiddle to all of them and do all these boring duties. Yeah. So no wonder she only stuck it for 18 months, because that's just not her bag, is it?
She couldn't handle not being the center of attention. She absolutely couldn't handle that.
Dude, I mean, Sterling, I guarantee you've seen this on set when two porn star chicks cannot get along, and the shoot, everything goes to hell because they're like, I don't want to get along. And that's the thing. Look, you know why men are so great is because we understand that there's a hierarchy. Like, I'm not going to come here and be like, hey guys, like, fuck Rich Cooper, I'm going to tell you how to make millions of dollars, even though I haven't done it, right? But if I don't like Rich telling me like, hey, you know, you haven't made millions of dollars, you shouldn't have done this, then I'm going to be like, well, fuck Rule Zero. I'm going to like go on a Anthony Johnson spree of like spurging out for the next 2 years, right? No, that's why we work well as men. We understand hierarchy. We understand order. There's no problem with us submitting to others in this situation here if someone knows something better than the other man, right? And that's
you just touched on something there, John. You touched on something.
My audio this time, John.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's better.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's better, Rich.
Sterling, what's
John,
up?
You just touched on something really important there, right? The idea of like hierarchy.
Yes.
The royal family is very clearly a hierarchy, and this is something that Meghan, as a Western woman, as an American woman, has zero concept of. The idea of the man, like the husband leading a family, for example, Harry's brother Will is obviously the head of his household, right? This kind of family dynamic with like her grandparent being the matriarch, you know, like the queen mother being the matriarch of the family and then passing things down. This is so foreign to her. It is obviously repulsive to her and like jars her down to her very core. So no wonder she can't stick it out. No wonder she can't handle it.
No, they're so brainwashed. Like I gotta say, talking about Myron Gaines's podcast, I love watching the 5s and 6s he brings on the channel that think they're fucking 10s. That they think they're fucking 10s. And they think, yeah, like I'm like, one girl's like, well, I'm in school to get my sonogram certification. That's why I deserve a top 1% man. I was like,
no one cares.
You deserve all those cats you're gonna have, bitch. You deserve every ounce of sadness because, like, it's become delusion. And the bad thing about America and why the West is really circling the drain is because you constantly have blue pill and beta men catering to enabling the delusions of these literal psychopaths walking around right now that are destroying the greatest nation that's ever existed, America. I think Rolo's Rockstar 20s in the comment there says Meghan doesn't even talk to her family. Red flag. I think that's massively overlooked as well.
And Oprah kind of let her off the hook about that, didn't she? I mean, the whole 2 hours was really just her hating on the royal family. That's kind of all the show was. And they just completely passed over those aspects of it, which, you know, for a balanced view, you'd really want to have a look at, wouldn't you?
Could the hating on the royal family be it's along the lines of hating on the patriarchy?
Yes,
it's absolutely. It's two birds, one stone. It's hating on white people and hating on the patriarchy.
Rich white people.
Yep. And Rich, before you showed up, I was telling him, like, basically the Oprah conversation was a billionaire talking to millionaires on how oppressed they are. I was like, great.
and that rankled a lot of people as well, because obviously the other thing is we're in the middle of a pandemic, and there are people in London queuing up at food banks. You know, there are people in 20-floor bloody tower blocks trying to educate their children and afford food for their kids. And then you've got this circus where you've got, like you say, a millionaire talking to a billionaire about how terrible things were, and that has definitely stuck in a lot of people's throats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just because Trump's out of office now, so what's hot to talk about? Racism and Corona. That's it. Like that's what.
Well, they're looking for enemies, right? Like they want to demonize whoever they think will get them ratings. You know, it was Trump at one time. Now it's the royal family because they're rich white people, right? Who's going to be next?
Patriarch.
You will be next, Rich Cooper.
No, I don't have nearly enough money to
if they
fund all these snowflakes.
I think Rich lost all his money in a cryptocurrency boating accident recently. It's all gone.
If Trump really wanted to tax somebody,
it's all gone.
Prince Andrew, his friendships with Epstein.
Yeah, there's also that too. I think Fitch is right though, because like when he was talking about like how women are putting off marriage later and later and later. I mean, isn't they had the baby and she was like in her mid 30s when they
37 when she had first
past mid 30s.
Yeah,
she's basically in a wheelchair.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. Is like there's I mean, they can probably afford the finest in fertility clinics or whatever, but like she is the epitome of the modern Western woman right now, who puts off family, puts off childbearing, puts off any kind of interests in like domesticity, let's just say, because she wants to be a B-list actress, right? And suddenly now she finds herself the princess, and she has to. Like Troy was saying, has to be selfless. And that's something that the average American Western woman has no concept of. It's and again, as John was saying, women, whether it's on Myron's show or whatever, they have no grasp of the hubris that they like project. And she is like she is, like I said, the epitome. She's the effigy of women today, because it's this sense of entitlement. It's not enough to even be the princess of the UK, right? Or the England, right? She's a princess.
I don't think she's a princess anymore. She's a duchess.
She's not now.
She got like demoted or whatever.
But the only reason anybody even knows her name is because she married Prince Harry.
Yeah. Did you guys get a chance to talk about the pussification of the royal family?
No, let's talk about it.
I'll go for it.
Prince Philip was like the last Chad in that family. I don't know if you guys know his story.
No, go ahead.
The guy was a pimp. Like he got thrown out to go and do some world tour that he didn't want to do, and he was so pissed off about it, he went and slammed a bunch of chicks, along the way. Like he's cheated on the queen a number of times, and she's just looked the other way. This all ended with Charles. Like Charles became the epitome of the beta male in that family. And of course, his two sons are byproducts of that, which is why they're sitting there. I mean, William may not look like that much of a beta, but when you start to watch the body language between him and his wife, when they're doing public events, you've noticed that she's become less and less interested with him over time. I think Rollo's right. I don't know if Harry's going to put a noose around his neck or whatever, but something bad is going to happen with that kid. I'm calling him a kid. He's a grown-ass man, but something bad is going to happen with him at some point. Like this is not going to end well with Meghan Markle, and like the way that she's trying to run this dude, it's just not a good thing.
I mean, you look at what city they live in, right? They live in Los Angeles. She is. I guarantee you that she's looking at her little ginger kids, and she's in her late 30s. She's thinking, "Shit, I could have had my pick of all the NBA players, all the NFL players, all the Hollywood actors that are living here in Los Angeles like 10, 15 years ago. And now I'm stuck with this dipshit's kids." I guarantee
that she ran through all those people already, though.
Well, that's true, but she didn't have any of their kids, did she? Now she's regretting the fact that she didn't have their kids.
How old is she right now? Do we know how old she is?
She's in her late
39.
30s.
39?
39. She's having her second kid at 39.
It's going to happen soon.
She's going to cheat on him. She's going to cheat on him with with Tyrone in the Hollywood Hills at a mansion party when Harry's at home looking after the kids. That's what's going to happen.
And you know what the funny thing is that Harry was a bit of a pimp himself. Like when he was stationed in Alberta, you know, he used to party it up with strippers, right? Like this guy was a pimp too.
Yeah, we were saying that before, like Vegas, in the partying with the girls, jumping the pool naked, all that kind of stuff. He had some good times.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, Hex You Rip with the $5 super chat says, does Sterling know the guy who made that P-Hub movie with her? I don't know.
She dated a porn star. I don't know if she made a movie. Sterling would know.
She was in like a sex scene in the movie, in like the TV show Skins.
Skins or Suits?
Oh, Suits. Yeah.
Oh, her forehead just bothers me. But like going back to this whole situation here, like I understand that Harry was getting tons of I'm just gonna mute you there for a second. I know Harry was getting tons of tail when he was out and about and coming around, but like really, again, if you're rich and famous, how hard is that to do? Like again, you see this manifest in guys when they get a little bit older in age. You see it happen in Johnny Depp. Took the bait with Amber Heard, American Woman, right? And Johnny Depp didn't have to work for pussy his entire life because he made his debut when he was 21 years old on Nightmare on Elm Street. And then from that moment forward, you're just everything you do is validated because you've been on the screen.
At that point.
Right. Everything you've done has been just validated through being on a screen. So you could show up with a bouquet of flowers on the first date. The girls can be like, "Oh my God, that's so sweet. You're so amazing." You could buy her chocolates, or you could do all these simpy ass things, and she'll just put up with it because at the end of the day, she just knows you're an ultra high value man, and she's going to rationalize what you do. And this creates a negative feedback loop for the guy because the guy thinks, "Oh man, like because he doesn't realize that he's famous at that point. Like maybe he has some kind of idea, but everything he thinks he does, like, oh, this girl, when he's really interested in the girl, he's like, oh man, I'm doing this and she's so interested in me. And it's all because I'm like such a good gentleman or whatever bullshit blue pill programming has. And again, right here, Lady Green says Harry is going the Anthony Bourdain route. And I totally see that. I really hope he doesn't kill himself. I think Anthony Bourdain was a little too old and too kind of up his own ass to really have an open mind about these things. But I think Harry is getting a lot of flack globally. And I'm pretty sure some people around him like, yo, dog, have you read The Rational Male? Have you
get your back in pocket is what they're saying, and when we started the show, you mentioned something that was really interesting, John. It was like fame, money, good looks, even. I don't care what the hell it is. That doesn't cure beta. Okay. Yes. Only thing that cures beta is understanding having red pill awareness, crossing the abyss, internalizing that shit. Because I don't care if you've got, who are we talking about? We were talking about somebody, like very rich men. I guess maybe Jeff Bezos is a good example of this. Or we're talking about guys who are just basically simping and they have lots of money and they go, doesn't he know that he's Jeff Bezos? Doesn't he know, like, he can have any chick he wants? Why is he with, Dirty Sanchez, right? Why is he, why doesn't he not know that he could be living like, Dan Bilzerian, right? Why, how come he doesn't do that, right? Well, because money doesn't cure beta. Fame doesn't cure beta. Princehood, royalty doesn't cure beta.
I've seen so many athletes, like top tier athletes, who are good looking.
Name them off.
And they get pussy whipped just as bad as anybody else.
Yep.
Well, when he actually got married to Meghan, I was jokingly saying, oh, let's hold 2 minutes silence for Harry and blah, blah, blah. And that was before I knew any of this was going to happen. But it was more, the joke was more like, he could have had such a fantastic life. I mean, he could have just, he could have milked that for all it was worth. He could still be out there on the yacht now, having this amazing time. And instead he chose to do this. And now look how it's turned out. And like you guys are saying, I don't think any of us really looking at this. And, it's not just us. I spoke to my mum about this the other day. And even she was saying, I don't think anybody feels like this is going to end well. Do you know what I mean? You just get that feeling. We're not exactly sure what's going to happen. But it's just the trajectory doesn't look good.
Yeah, again, like I said, looking at this entire situation, what's funny is too, right? Because look, all right. So American women are like the Federal Reserve. All you can do is keep throwing cash at the fake economy and just got to keep this like shenanigans going, keep kicking the can down the road. There's an article here. I'll pull it up right now. You can take a look here. Like everybody is just rushing to aid her in her defense as well. This article says why Duchess Meghan's pregnancy at 39 is called geriatric by some doctors. Those are some great doctors. And then the article written by Katie Kindlin in February, about a month ago. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, is not old by any means at 39. That's all I need to read right there. That is all I need to read. Let me tell you something. I've had sex with 39-year-old women, and I have sex with women in their early 20s, 18, 19 as well. There is a massive gravitational collagen, wrinkle, vaginal elasticity. I mean, no, it's just after you fuck like a hot, 18 to 23-year-old, your DNA gives you like this fake sense of accomplishment. You're like, God damn, I'm fucking feel like I'm serious. Like if you guys have the ultra pairs know what I'm talking about, but like when you like have sex with a young girl, you get like this feeling like you've accomplished something. Like when you bang an old chick, you're like, ugh, I need to wash myself. Like, what did I do that for?
I was going to say is that it is a geriatric pregnancy, and it's very dangerous for her to be doing that. And it's dangerous, even more dangerous, to be promoting the idea that women can have children successfully. They can conceive and have children after 40 years old. Can the very rare women do that? Yes, they can. But it's also like right after 30, I believe it is. I've got an essay called The Myth of the Biological Clock where I get into the statistics and the numbers that are associated with this. But we have told women, like what John Fitch was just saying, we've told women that they can live like men, that it doesn't matter. Just freeze your eggs and you'll be able, as soon as you meet Mr. Right, then you'll be able to impregnate yourself with your your young eggs when you're older. You still have to carry the child to conception, but also, to birth, right? There's so much more that's attached to that, but because we live in a gynocentric society, what we have done is we have sold women on this idea that they can have security into their indefinitely. Their sexual market value is evergreen. You're sexy at 18 and you're sexy at 88, right? That's the idea. And we keep selling that and pushing that because it makes money. Women are the primary consumers in Western cultures. And what do they consume the most of? Things that make them feel secure in their sexual market value, because that's their only real agency in this life, okay, is their sexual market value. What makes them at their peak? And if we keep saying, oh, don't worry about it, girl, focus on your career. Focus on your career is bullshit. Okay. Focus on your career means I haven't found the guy who is good enough for me yet. That's what it is. It's the sense of hubris and sense of entitlement. I saw it live in studio whenever I go to Myron. But all the time. And when I put out like little YouTube shorts, the first thing in those goddamn shorts is women going, well, you could still have babies and and women are all bad, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And what it's me running into those social conventions that tell women that there are no consequences. There is no judgment. There is nothing that comes with, it's only an upside to be a woman. And you're entitled to the best of the best, who makes more money than you, who's taller than you, who is more educated than you, is richer than you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you don't find that by the time you're 30, well, then it's men's fault for not being there and ready for you when you're done with your party or your hoe phase, right? They're not there waiting for you. And so when you look at somebody who is 39 years old, who is like catching up to where she should have been when she was probably about 25, if there's a biological clock, it's when you're 23 to about 25, right in there. That's when the clock's ticking, not when you're 31 after you're out of your epiphany phase and the lights are going out at the party and you got to find somebody to go home with real quick. Because if you're going to start, if that's how you're going to, phase your life, or that's the plan, the life plan that you have, you're going to be very disappointed, just like Meghan Markle is with this, Prince Chump, the cuck of Sussex. And again, that's a recipe for infidelity. It's a recipe for her having your kids and then going off and saying, well, I got the bag. And now I'm going to go and, that's why I asked how old she was, because usually right around 38, 39 is when women who have made that commitment, like back in their epiphany phase, will say, you know what, fuck it, I'm out. I want to go get with Tyrone. I want to go get with the guys. I want to feel sexy one last time before I hit 40 years old.
I'm going to switch over to my desktop in a minute once it restarts so I can get my audio clean. But I'm going to say this. I think Rolo's right. I would bet by about the time that second kid is going to be by 2, the latest, she's done. She's out.
We'll want to add to that too, though. Like, this is the worst thing that could happen to women, and probably, I don't know, the past 100 years or so. Not specifically the Meghan Markle thing, but that delusion of value that Rolo's talking about. You know, it's this delusional sense that they have time, and then they can continue to screw their lives up in their 20s, make infinite amount of mistakes, and just turn
endless
around.
amounts of dicks and get fucked and think that high value men are like, oh yeah, used bicycle. I'm on the market for that one.
Right. They get that hard reality smack in the face when it's too late. When they're 35 and they got a kid or two in tow and nobody wants them, and they're saying, well, there's no good men out there. No, good men don't want you. You know, when you're 40 and you haven't been working on yourself at all, you don't bring any value to the table. All right. Your previous value was your vagina and your fertility and youthfulness, which now is compromised at 40. You're not bringing anything else to the table. Guys don't want you. Yeah. And then and we don't talk about this stuff. I personally, I'm pretty sure I can say maybe everybody agrees. We don't talk about this stuff just to crap all over women. We talk about this stuff because they need to know this and start making better decisions for themselves and start really thinking about what they're doing, because they're going to turn around and be miserable. I see it all the time. Go to the bar, you know, and you see these cougars just miserable, Botoxed out, couple of rounds of plastic surgery, living off some guy's alimony check, miserable, and nobody wants them, and they're alone and sucking. You know, compared to like a married chick or someone who made better life decisions, and she's in her mid 40s.
John, let me address this guy, this brainwash guy here in the chat real quick, because he's talking about like, you know, well, it's guys that are enabling this. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. It is beta chumps just like Prince Harry who are enabling this crap.
Yeah, I agree.
That MPD, BPD girl comes along. It's the best, hottest porn star sex he's ever had. He thinks he's found the one, his dream girl. And this is exactly what happens. You are 100% correct. So when you get beta men and you get entitled, hubristic women as the majority of society, absolutely, because those guys think they're lucky. They thank their lucky stars for that girl. They thank their lucky stars that they're finally their ship has come in, and all of their perseverance and hard work is that they're hitting pay dirt. Right? Be nice to her. Do all, you know, be her friend. Have rapport. Do all this great, you know, support her. Lift her up, do all, you know, fall in line with whatever the current you want to call it psyop, whatever the current narrative is right now about supporting and empowering women, and guys lean into that. The male feminist, model of a mating strategy for guys. Yeah. And all it does is you get this host parasite relationship that becomes this big negative feedback circle. You want to know why marriage is in the shitter? That's why. You want to know why divorce is what it is? That's why. You want to know why fertility rates are plummeting? That's exactly why. Because you get beta males who get involved with chicks like this, and they think that's the way it should be.
There's a stand-up comic with a bit on this. I think it was Bill Burr, and he said that, the reason why women are so entitled today is because of all the beta guys that are swarming around them that are not correcting their bullshit positions.
Because they want to bang them, right?
Because they want to bang them. I mean, it's guys like us that are sitting here telling you the truth, and we're probably less than 5% of the male population that's willing to tell women and society the absolute truth.
Not even that. This is why whenever somebody,
maybe even 1%,
whenever somebody asks, "Oh, do you think like your coast? Do you think porn stars? Do you think OnlyFans girls? Do you think webcam girls? Right? Do you think they're going to struggle to find a guy later on in life?" Yes. I do not think they're going to struggle at all, because they have a pre-qualified line.
Yeah, Khalifa, perfect example.
Ready,
another beta
to just jump in line and appease her whims And then, and lo and behold, she is disappointed in the kind of guy she ends up shacking up with. She cheats on him. She treats him like shit, and you get a perfect example.
Who's that beta that Jenna Jameson hooked up with and popped out a kid with? He was like some Jewish billionaire.
I can't remember.
Tito Ortiz.
He looks like the biggest dork. I mean, you can go look him up and put up on the screen, but he looks like nothing like any of the alpha Chad porn stars that she was banging when she had the career, right?
Well, so
let me hold on. Let me just catch up with these super chats real quick. Al for the $5 super chat. Thanks so much, guys. Keep the super chats coming. He says she'll divorce him at the 10-year mark. She gets lifelong alimony in California after 10 years. American women plan to divorce before the wedding. I don't think they got married in America. So
they didn't. They got married in the UK. So what would the legal status be in California? Would that still hold? Could she say, well,
prenup? Just so you know, I commented on that when they were right before they were going to get married.
No prenup.
Get out of here.
I love it. I love it.
I did a video on this topic.
I love it. I fucking love it. No, because you know what? These guys, they all shit the bed and they deserve it. Look, the biggest problem is, and you see it, and again, you see it on Myron Gaines' podcast, right? Fresh and Fit podcast. Check it out. You want to check out Delusional American Women 101? Going back to what Paul said, Paul from Apex Mindset. These chicks don't understand men. They don't know. They end up 30. Like, well, I make 6 figures. Why don't men love me? Because I don't like 6 figures. Okay. I like 2 figures right here on your fucking chest. I like that. Okay. I like nice ass. I like a chick that hasn't been fucked by 5 out of my 6 friends. All right. I like a girl that's only been with 1 or 2 guys, if not a virgin. Okay. Why? Because it guarantees the fertility. That's all it boils down to. It's just DNA. But they don't understand that guys like a girl that serves him. And not saying like I'm gonna shackle a fucking chain around her neck and beat her on a daily basis. I just want, hey, cook me a meal once in a while. Scratch my head, tell me you love me, and say, hey, thanks for going out there and working and making all this money and taking care of me. Right? But they don't even know that. And they have the audacity. They don't have the audacity. They have the audacity to not even try to want to learn too. And then, like I said, like that Karen in training that was on Myron's, the one with the jiggly arms, the white lady. She over there, she thinks like she's some hot shit and she's like running her mouth, but she's so insufferable.
Giga Karen.
So insufferable that she cannot even change her ways or like try to learn to. She's like, no, I'm not going to change for men and men are the problem and it's not me. Whole world telling her otherwise. And she's like, well, I'm a strong, independent woman. Yeah. Independent means alone, bitch. All you dumb bitches out there. Independent means alone. One
or
alone.
They'll have some guy that they're not happy with and they can't, they're just miserable and they can't figure it out. They don't understand it.
And exactly. They get miserable.
It's not going to be complete unless we bring up one name. Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
This dude is like, he is a feminist convenience and a red pill of convenience. The guy is all brand, but like when I heard that he got canned as a result of his comments, or he basically retired. I don't know what went down, but it happened as a result of his comments on the Meghan Markle thing with Oprah Winfrey. I'm like, you deserve every fucking bit of this asshat.
Absolutely. Fuck
every bit of it. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You live by feminism, you die by feminism. Goodbye and good riddance.
Amen.
I mean, looking at it all, going back to this situation now, somebody's saying in the chat, what is the end game? How can Harry escape this? How can turn this to be beneficial to him? Or how do you see it playing out? Honestly, I don't see him waking up. I see him cucking to the day he dies.
No, that's what they do. You know what I noticed too? Like, goes back to a comment I get from guys, kind of a counter argument to why, it's hopeless with women. All right. Is they'll point out celebrities who get left, you know what I mean, by chicks. And it's like, well, if this guy who's the celebrity who has all this stuff going for him can't keep this girl, then what hope do we have? And what they're failing to recognize is the same thing that we're looking at with Prince Harry here, is that they're not good with women. They don't understand how to have frame. And in fact, their status is crippled them in this, because they have so much access that they don't have to get good at game and understanding how women think and figuring this stuff out. They just have it thrown at them, and then they fall into their blue-pilled, I need to take care of some crazy woman paradigm, and they fail. They're terrible at it. And they get run over.
I'm so glad you said that, because before you came to the show, I said the exact same thing. Nice. Roll a double down, and then you pop in here and you say the exact same thing, because like, again, like, I don't ever think Harry was an alpha male. I don't think he was anything like, inherently alpha or had game or anything. He had fame and fortune, and that's all you need to get laid. That's really that simple.
The amount of guys out there who actually understand red pill philosophy and have game and know how to talk, it's like less than 1%.
Less than 1%. Absolutely.
It's hard. I really enjoy the conversations on Saturdays, because even in my normal circles, most guys have no idea what any of this stuff is, or will push back hard or fight you or argue with you if you mention anything about on these lines of red.
You need new friends, John. Get rid of them.
It's really hard to find people who don't have this programming. It's really hard.
Come to Hot Dude Con.
Yeah. Stop choking your friends out, John.
But no, John,
even tough, successful fighters will be blue-pilled and get one-itis, and yeah, man.
Listen, John, I put this guy on the is a friend of mine here, one of the most red pill people I know on the planet, Mac the Day Gamer, Irish guy, phenomenal womanizer. Just like, he's a guy we were talking about, like, after we have sex with like a fucking girl in her early 20s, we just like feel like this sense of accomplishment. Our DNA is just like, good job, go lay down, you did it. But he says here two things: they will spite you for telling them what's best for them. So encourage these feminists. If you can sell this shit to them, do it. Operation Evil, Aaron Clary, 1000% agree with this. Number two, here's the big thing. Take a look at all the people outside walking around with the delusions of the coronavirus is going to come kill them. Wearing masks, fighting for food, fighting for toilet paper, fighting for vaccines. And then you see that one lone person sometimes not wearing a mask. That's a representation of men who have game and who are red pilled, internalized.
Yeah. Let me just chime in here real quick. I don't think Harry does come out of this. I wish I had more.
I just said that.
Optimism. I really do. Sorry, I had to take a piss.
No, it's fine. You're just validating me. Keep going.
I really wish I had more optimism, but here's the thing: is even if like people say, oh, give him the rational male, he'll let him come around, he'll make his own way. Whether, let's just say, for sake of argument, like, what's the best case scenario for Prince Harry? And he goes red pill, he internalizes it. Suddenly he changes his behavior, and publicly he is seen as like trying to be something he's not, right? He's a poser. Suddenly he's and this is a difficulty that a lot of guys who have been very blue pill, very beta for most of their lives, they pick up on this stuff, they'll read my stuff, and they'll go hardcore, right? They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a badass now. But then all of their friends will go, dude, you're just trying to be somebody you're not, man. You're wearing the mask of masculinity, right? There's all of this pre-established conventions that will show you like how you're being disingenuous or how you're not being authentically, like, you just got to be yourself, man. This isn't you. And that's them trying to drag you back in. If you're a guy who is of the public image of like a prince, all the attention is going to be on you. So when you do that, everybody will make you think that you're just trying to be somebody that you're not. And then second of all, even if that played out for the best case scenario for him, he's still attached to this bitch for the rest of his life because he's got 2 kids with her, and he will not get away from that. Even if he went like hardcore red pill and said, screw you guys all, I'm going back to being who I used to be. he's still locked in. And you know what? His family's locked in. William's locked in. Everybody's locked in who even gives a shit about the royals at whatsoever, including the family. And I think that's one of the things that we need to sort of focus on here is, gentlemen, when you put your dick in crazy and you have a baby with crazy, it's not just your life you're fucking up. It's your family's life. It's your mom, your dad, your uncles, and you know what? The kids that are produced as that, their family will be just as fucked up because of that one fucking decision. That's how important it is to internalize the red pill. That's why. It's not.
Can I just add one thing to that as well? There's also the sunk cost fallacy working here as well, because he's made. This is such a massive thing. You know, they're saying this is the biggest, outrage in the royal family for 100 years, and it's a worldwide news event. You know, everyone's talking about it. He's made such a huge show for this for his relationship with Meghan that he's got to stick in there now. He's got to stick in there. He has nowhere else to go. And this is a classic embodiment of the Beaterization process, isn't it? Because now he's stuck there. Now he's effectively estranged from his family. He doesn't have the kudos that he had at the time when he met her. He's looking after chickens in the backyard. And, this is largely, it appears to be at her behest. And that's going to cause her to be less attracted to him as we go forward. But he's got to stick in there now because he's made such a big thing of this. He's caused such seismic damage in the family. He's got nowhere else to go.
And this is what American chicks do. They're like cancer. They spread into all your fucking organs and they kill you. Right? He can't get out of this.
So do you guys?
Hold on. I want to say this real quick, John. So the thing is this, guys. You have to realize this. You should thank your lucky stars for two things. One, you're watching us. And two, that you have the opportunity to publicly study Meghan Markle because she is a super predator. Okay? She is a super psychological predator, and she got herself a great piece of game. A great piece of game meat. You know what I mean? She got Harry. This guy, she married into the royal family, cucked the entire place. Now she's calling them racists and smearing the royal family. So all because of this guy's beta. Hold on. All because of this guy's beta behavior. So it's no coincidence that she popped out that baby. It's like within how long did she pop out the baby? Less than 6 months of them being married? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'm saying that this is the royal family. This is a regular family. So if things do go nuclear, if things fall apart, she cheats, she leaves. Do you think that they have measures that will bring him back in and coach him back into the royal family? Because she
might have a car accident in a somewhere.
Yeah, might be a car accident, or, because it's a very powerful and images means a lot to these people. They got unlimited resources. We could,
Well, but it's already been a PR disaster for them. Already, hasn't it?
Well, then that would work out for them because then they can be like, "Oh, we've got Harry back. What a horrible monster she was. He was in an abusive relationship." They can totally turn the story against her.
I think though that this guy Al, who's done the super chat here, he's saying, she'll use him until she can't make money off his fame and prestige anymore. She'll end up leaving because he's abusive. You could see it a mile coming. You can see the narrative, can't you? Because you can see already in a few years' time, if it comes to pass in the way that we think, she's going to be saying, look, he's come from this background, it's patriarchal, this institution that is corrupt in all of these different ways. And in the end, I just couldn't live with that, and therefore we've had to consciously uncouple as a result of, but the groundwork for the narrative is already being laid, isn't it?
Absolutely. Let me catch up with the super chats real quick. Al, $5 super chat says she'll use him until she can't make money off his fame and prestige anymore. Then she'll end up leaving him because he's, quote, abusive. See it coming from a mile away. I don't think she's going to let go of him because it's too, this is her end game. This is the best she's ever going to get. She's not going to get anything better. Any man who has a brain and a decent PR agency is going to be like, yo, dude, stay away from this chick. We can't make it work. But let's go to another super chat we have here by Andrew Yu. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Guys, if you want to get your question answered by the Rule Zero panelists, please send a super chat right now. Thoughts on BPD, NPD women trying to get the best of both worlds, control of a beta and masculinity of alpha? Rollo covered this earlier in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say is this sort of dovetails nicely with what you were talking about, predatory females. Hypergamy is opportunistic to begin with. So, you know, when it comes down to by order of degree, women are going to be opportunistic. That's how they approach love. That's how they approach life. They have to. It's part of their evolutionary, biological, neurological firmware. They have to get the best of the best, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense not to. Like, they're not going to look for lower than what they think that they deserve, or whatever their evaluation of their own sexual market value is. So they are going to be the ones doing the selecting, regardless of what little girls on TikTok are talking about, Rich. But yeah, I'm sure you saw that video. But anyways, yeah, I would love to talk about that too. But but the predatoriness, by order of degree, again, it depends on that woman's need, right? What is her necessitousness? So when a girl gets to be about 29 to 31 years old, when she's in her epiphany phase and she realizes that the party's going to be closing pretty well, or she's going to hit the wall up here, if not here, that is what triggers women into looking for how am I going to live my life in a secure fashion for the rest of my life? Because if you think about it, when women are between the ages, say like 21 and about 28, somewhere around there, that is when they have their optimal window of locking down the guy, finding the right guy, you know, having babies, that kind of stuff. Because between like 29 and 30, you know, 29 and really 85, however long they live, they're going to be in a state of necessitousness. And so by order of a degree, again, depending on the woman, that is going to turn into a predator, or she's just going to simply be opportunistic and hopefully, you know, find the right guy. Meghan Markle is definitely a predator because it comes back to narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder. Again, I still think those two exist in her, but she found the apex game meat, right? She found the apex target. That was her mark, right? And when you're dealing with women who are in that state of necessitousness and they understand alpha men and beta men, which she certainly did, because she's gotten with guys in the past. She knows the difference between a guy that she wants to bang and a guy that she wants to marry, or the guy that who's going to be her meal ticket for her long-term security. She knows this. She saw that immediately in Prince Harry. I don't know the details of how they sort of like had their romance, but I know it was pretty quick. And I know she probably tapped into things that he wanted to see in like his mother, and like that he didn't get from his mom, right? And so she sees that most women who are savvy of men's nature, of alpha nature and beta nature, if they see that beta nature in that guy, and that guy's high value in in terms of long-term security, they're going to be masters at picking up on that and telling you what you want to hear. And telling, again, that's the predatory nature of that whole, that mating strategy. But and again, this is not all women. I'm just saying the predatory women who have this as their sort of like strategy, you're an easy mark, man. If you are blue pill conditioned and you are beta, or you're what I call a beta in waiting at like 30 years old, and you think your ship has come in because this NPD run through girl comes along and tells you all the things you've ever wanted to hear, you think it's validation of your lifestyle. You think it's validation of your beta blue pill ideals. I'm going to be better than my dad. I'm going to, he was an asshole to my mom, and now I'm never going to be like my old man. I'm never going to do the things that typical guys do. I'm going to support her and empower her and lift her up, and we're going to have an equal partnership. All that kind of stuff. Women see that. And if that's you, and you have made enough money, or you have enough potential, you're a prime target. If you don't kill the beta, that's why I say kill the beta before the beta kills you. You have to kill off that blue pill nature that you had, because if you don't, you are a prime mark when that woman needs you the most. All you got to do is follow like Sheryl Sandberg, her advice to women in Lean In. It's exactly what I'm just saying. Look for that guy when you've cashed out all your chips, when you can no longer be sexually competitive anymore. Look for that guy who's a good mark. Find the guy who still is ignorant of the game and is still blue pill and beta. They're easy to find because there's so many of them. We just talked about that a second ago. You have to be, again, it's a matter of life or death. Really.
Hey guys, I got to run. I got to hop on a call, but enjoy the rest of the show. My book is now available on Audible, so grab it. I'll try to hop on Dude Party later on, John. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace out, Pimp Daddy. Good to have him always. Oh wait, why am I here? Just suffer. Anyways, P-Dubs with the $10 super chat, biggest super chat of the show. Thank you so much. Says, thank God for the knowledge you give us. Hopefully it gets to the right minds before it's too late. That is misplaced hope. Do not have hope. It is not going to work out for a lot of people. 5 great British pounds by the Sophist 2007. This reminds me of M. Scott Peck's People of the Lie. He talks about this kind of a narcissist relationship. I will tell you this, the type of woman that Meghan Markle is very similar to Brie Larson. Only Brie Larson,
same energy,
dude, filthy. Like the whole Avengers class hates her. Earlier. Oh, I like, look at my face. You can't fake this. It's like, it's real disgust. I get like a reverse boner when I look at her. My dick shrivels up inside.
Yep.
And like, she's the same type of insufferable American woman that nobody likes. And like, I talk about this all the time. The American women are the lowest quality women on the planet, period. I mean, I was talking to Sterling. I said, Sterling currently is in Portugal right now. I said, Sterling, are you not happy to be the fuck out of Los Angeles, California right now? And he was saying,
I've not liked being in Los Angeles for a while.
So, I just think that with what's happening here, just observe, like, again, if you're watching this channel, I have hope that you're not going to ruin your life by putting your dick in something pathetic as like Meghan Markle or Brie Larson. But again, if you don't, I think the red pill is spreading. I do. I think that the knowledge, I mean, Chad is a daily slang these days. Chad, beta, simp, right? Simp getting to the point that Twitch is like trying to ban it off of their platform, right? You have the official feminist Instagram saying that using the word simp to target men is really marginalized or blah, 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 whatever like liberals speak they have on that crap shit.
It's oppressive to women in some way.
Sure. Who gives a fuck? But like, I just saying that with everything that happens with this, world being more connected through the internet and information spreading so quickly, I don't necessarily I don't have hope for America. America is absolutely doomed, financially, China, everything. And a big part of that is due to the people in America. It's sad to say, but the people in America are fundamentally broken people who come from broken homes, and broken homes produce broken people. Okay. I was miraculous. I am a statistical anomaly to be where I am right now. I am literally a statistical anomaly. Single mother home, never met my dad, my brother, sister, all of us have 3 different fathers. So like, it's just chaos. And it was just growing up in that household. My mom did her best. God bless her. She got pregnant with me. She was 19. But it was just chaos, and that's what you're seeing. And it doesn't matter if the family has money, because we all know rich kids that are fucked up, right? It's just the fundamentals of masculinity and femininity. They're trying to blur the line to make this androgynous NPC consumer thing, and it's not working. If you guys ever travel outside of America, because I know most of you fucking hillbillies don't have your passport, all right, if you go and you travel to Asia, you travel to India, go to the Middle East, and you see these traditional countries, you see these people that don't have a lot of money. People in Vietnam, not very rich. I went to Vietnam, some of the happiest people I've ever met in my life. Scooting down the road with their little fucking $800 bike with a hot girl on the back of their fucking thing, because they know men are men and women are women.
Yeah.
John, what'd you say, buddy?
Yeah. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
Vietnam, Thailand, very happy people. Very, very happy people.
Well, and that's what we're talking about here, isn't it, though? We're talking about being happy in your life and satisfied with what you're doing and having a fulfilled and good life here, And these women, I mean, this is the problem with, like, these women look at Meghan Markle and these types as like, oh, like she won the jackpot. Like her behavior and how she is and how she ran her life. Well, that's great. That's hope for me. Like, so I can now go follow the westernized paradigm of being a complete thought in my 20s and being an idiot, and then, you know, everything is going to turn out just fine.
Yep.
And of course they're miserable. Meghan Markle's a miserable person. Yep. These people are unhappy, miserable people with resources. Yes. And that's the real problem here. And dudes are miserable that settle for it.
Yes. And Paul, I want to double down on that, because what they're doing is they are miserable. You're so right. And this is what the problem is, right? Miserable people, you cannot fix a miserable person externally. Yep. You have to fix them internally. But what we're having is we have enablers, people chasing around these women's delusions. Like, oh, yo, you go, girl. What are you, 47? You can have a kid. Don't let no man oppress you. You fucking got to add water to your powdered eggs, but that's okay. You know, you don't let the patriarchy hold you down. Use this science developed by men over here to help you have a baby at 47 years old, thanks to the patriarchy. But again, like the delusion is here, and women are going to be the last. Women are never going to wake up. They don't want, dude. Women don't want the truth. They can't handle the truth.
They don't want to.
They don't want to. They enjoy the delusion.
They want the fantasy. They want to feel
right.
Anand's got a $9.99 euro, Great British pounds donation. He says, at panel, America still leads culturally. Don't you think this is spreading? I visit a lot of countries and notice the Americanization of a stereotypically alpha country for good and bad. I don't think so.
Western countries.
Western country.
Europe, America, Canada, but not South America. Well, a little bit in South America. You know, they celebrated legal abortion somewhere like Chile or something like that.
But I'll say, I want to say no, because
but not China, not Asia, no, not Russia.
What taints them is the English language, because then they start watching American media, and American media is so toxic. Like, a lot of you guys don't realize this. Like, in Asia, there's like not like in American TV shows and movies, there's always conflict between men and women. Always. They're never portrayed getting along harmoniously. It's always like, oh, look at this sassy girl. She's like so smart, and she has to like talk down to like this guy, and he's just like a bumbling fool. And it's like, how long are we going to run this stupid fucking clip over and over and over on everything?
In movies now.
Oh my God, it's so tiring.
But if you watch it on,
if you watch stuff with my kids now, like every cartoon is female led, and all the men are retards.
Yeah, but if you watch stuff in Japan, just type in Japanese commercials. Watch Japanese commercials. Watch some Korean. Korea is a little influenced by America, but India, Bollywood stuff. If you watch their stuff, all this stuff is very traditional. In addition to that, all this stuff is banned in China. Just so you guys know, you guys want to talk about being woke and all that shit. LGBT stuff banned in China. Hip hop music depicting gang violence and stuff like that banned in China. Transgender stuff banned in China. Okay, all of our Google, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff banned in China, because all of that shit. Sorry to say, but like, it's become these people they've become obsessed with promoting this. Like, America has been obsessed with like.
There were just articles recently about China nationally trying to like force more masculinity onto their young men and boys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, here's how bad it is. A great illustration. The new Coming to America movie. All right. So I was excited about this movie because I like Eddie Murphy's old stuff, and Coming to America 1 was hilarious. Yep. So I watched 1 again, right? Just in preparation for 2. Now I'm like, okay, I know where we're at in the world right now, but I'm going to put some high hopes into this a little bit, and we'll see how disappointed I am. Okay. So get to 2, couldn't even make it to the end. It was so bad. Now, part of that's the social justice stuff where I'd be horrible being a comedian today, because it's like they're so afraid to offend anybody and get canceled with this cancel culture that they can't even be funny anymore. You do one joke here, you have to equal it out over here so you don't upset a demographic. It was ridiculous. But here's the main point, though, I want to make about it to really illustrate how bad things are. So Eddie Murphy and his character, spoiler alert, unless you're really excited about this movie, plug your ears now for 5 seconds or whatever. Okay. Eddie Murphy, the premise is that he has daughters, and so he has to find a male heir, and that he had an illegitimate male heir, the male son in America when he came into America the first time. The whole premise was how he was date raped and pregnancy raped into the situation. The whole premise of the movie is how Eddie Murphy was date raped, and that's cool. That's fine, and he brings the new son and the mom to go be royalty over with him in this kingdom and figure it out. I mean, think about that. And I don't care. Like, I'm not offended by the date rape thing, but they were so hypersensitive about offending anyone. And the premise of the movie is date rape a dude, drug a dude, take his seed, get pregnant, and now you have to take care of the baby and make him a king. And that's the premise, and everyone's cool with that. Nobody even notices. Isn't that? It's insane. That's crazy when you think about it. That's crazy.
I want to read these. I want to read these super chat. Red Fortitude $10 super chat says, not sure she was mentioned, but Amber Heard is part of that group of predatory. Absolutely,
of course.
And that was shown when she set up the camera to film. When Johnny Depp caught her when he filmed the camera or filmed them the altercation, and she filmed another one trying to when Johnny Depp got mad and like smashed a wine bottle, she was like trying to set him up. But then the other audio recording came out and showed that like she basically said like, Johnny, no one's can believe you. You're a white man. And she knows these girls know the game. They know the manipulation game. They know it big time. Rihanna Keeves with the $5 super chat all the way from Nevada. How do you say it?
Nevada. There is no
Nevada. Do you think the royal family will pull some strings to clean this up, like finding herself in a car accident?
I joked around about it on Twitter. I don't know. We'll find out.
We will see. And then we got another one here. SD Kapoor with the 400 rupees. I think that is. Major cities in India are becoming highly feminized. Advertisements, TV shows with guys getting slapped around are celebrated. We highest number of simps per square mile in the world. You have to realize, guys.
Yeah.
The average guy is a simp. The average guy is blue pill across the board. Across the board. To be like us, you're very, very lucky.
You're an outlier. You're an outlier to be aware.
Mm-hmm. And so, but going back to that,
90%.
I think that America has already bottomed out. And I think that, people are kind of seeing what's going on. Like, Jeff Bezos getting divorced, losing half of his fucking fortune, losing the title of richest man in the world.
Not caring one bit about it.
Yeah. And then, thank God, Moon Boy, fucking Elon Musk, he got rid of Amber Heard. He did what he was supposed to do with girls like her, pump and dump. But even her, she's so arrogant during one of her interviews with Elon. Like I said, she's one of those super predators. There's an interview with Amber Heard, and they're interviewing Elon and her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he likes to play with his rockets or whatever." And she's like, dismissing him, like, "This motherfucking man is trying to go to Mars. You are just hot and you suck dick. This is the talent you bring to Earth.
Boys and toys. I don't know.
This man is told the world, I want to be the first human to die on Mars. That's what he said. Elon Musk wants to go to Mars and die there. And this kid's like, well, he plays with his rockets and like, that's whatever
thing of his. I don't know.
Oh my God. And it's funny because when she, she's such a strong, independent woman, when things came out, painting her in a very bad light with Johnny Depp, she had to lock down her Instagram comments. She had to take a break from social media, all this crap. And it just shows you that like let me tell you what happened to me last weekend. Okay. So I went to a bar here in Tokyo, and I know the owner, right? And he's this like based ass African dude. Like, this motherfucker will cut your hand off. And no, he is fucking literally from Africa. He is a badass. And I know all the guys there, I have like a little bit of a good reputation in the Tokyo nightlife. And so there was this American chick, and I'm at a table. There's a pro boxer that I'm friends with. And so I was like, saying what's up to him. He saw that I was there with my buddies, and he pointed at me, told the staff like, hey, get him some drinks. So I'm in good graces with everybody around there. I'm drinking, having a good time, right? And like a couple hours go by, and then there's this like white American chick next to me. And I was like, oh, hey, you know, she like, kind of like was coming into her group. I was like, hey, how are you? And I like put my arm around her, you know, not like trying to like molest her or sexually harass her or whatever. And what happened was, and this is characteristic of American chicks. I'm going to break down this entire story for you. Mac, the day gamer, was there. I put my arm around her, just being friendly, not trying to like be sexual or anything. And she pushes me and violently pushes me. And so she pushes me. So I just pushed her away from me. I was like, you're not going to fucking push me. And then I said to her, I said, bitch, don't fucking push me. I don't know who you are, but I was being friendly to you. Don't push me at all. And her fat friend got in my face. And I was like, you can go fuck yourself too. Because none of you people are going to put your hands on me. I'm not going to tolerate this shit. What happens? So here's what happens. Obviously, direct confrontation, right? Direct confrontation, they can't win, man, with me. They go around to the backside of the bar and they go and they talk to my friend Benjamin, who works there. They don't know.
Cut her hand off.
They don't know that I'm friends with Benjamin, right? And so Benjamin hears this story about some big bad guy who came over and like, you know, assaulted this girl or whatever. And he storms over to my table and he's like, who is the guy? And she points at me and he's like, him? And then he's like, yo, Jonathan, what the fuck is this bitch saying about you? And I was like, bro, this bitch is trouble. And then I went up to her after that and I said, you see, you bitch? I said, I know you're trying to get me fucking thrown out of this club. I said, your tricks are not going to work on me. You pushed me first. Let's not fucking forget that fact. Okay? Told Benjamin the whole story. Again, shut down completely. Another hour and a half goes by. Guess who comes up finally with her tail in between her legs? Listen, I think we got off on the wrong start, and I want to say I'm so sorry. And that's only because all of her options were exhausted, and she had no fucking point, no option but to surrender. And that right there is why people don't like American women in Tokyo. They don't like to hire them. They don't like to put up with them. The Chinese have a joke calling the fucking they call them baizao, which means white liberal or white left. White left. Like, oh, this like, he's a baizao. And I don't know if that the pronunciation is correct. I'm not 100%, but something along those lines. But again, that's just a story right there that shows you the typical insufferability of these American women. And who does this chick probably idolize? Probably idolize the Kardashians. Kim's another super predator. Kim Kardashian got Kanye. Now she's going to take half his money. Amber Heard, Amber Rose, fucking who's this bitch we're talking about today? Meghan Markle, right? Brie Larson. All these chicks, super intelligent, hyper predators, but not good for you at all, man. Like, dealing with those kind of chicks, I'm telling you, I don't care how hot she is, it's not worth it. Anyways, that's my story. We got a $20 super chat. Bread Bowl Pasta, $20 super chat. It says Tucker Carlson recently came under fire for talking about China's military becoming more masculine while America is becoming more feminine. Because it's true. Read the article, it'll make you want to puke. We go to war, we're fucked. We're not going to go to war. People don't go to war anymore. We win with this right here, and that's the Asian way. Bribery, money. That's what you're going to do, and they're going to happen. El Ta, $5 Great British Pound super chat says, one of the biggest problems I see today is the vast majority of men cannot say no to women on anything. They're terrified. Good. Keep on saying yes. Let's see where that gets you.
You know, I was going to let me just tag something on to the end of that there, because when you were talking about Amber Heard and then you're talking about Kim Kardashian, and I think you did a show, didn't you, on your show, John, about the divorce, the upcoming divorce?
Yeah, dude party.
Interesting, because like whenever there's a high profile divorce like Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Bezos, the first thing out of women's mouth or out of a gynocentric, the femstream press is, well, she deserves that money. I guarantee you will see exactly the same thing happen with Kim Kardashian when she gets her settlement, whatever the divorce ends up being from Kanye West. And they have to cover that up, because the fact of the matter is, the stats bear this out, is that the wealthiest women on planet Earth are wealthy by two means: divorce and inheritance. Not hard work, not starting from the ground up, or maybe like you got somebody like what's Sheryl Sandberg, who comes into a pre-established, already wealthy company. We're talking heredity and divorce. Divorce is the number one way that all of the richest women on planet Earth have made their fortune. I think they was it Forbes or Morgan Stanley did a probably this month too, because it's Women's History Month, right? Who are the wealthiest women on planet Earth, right? 58 of the 60 they interviewed made their money through divorce, or they inherited the company that they are in. They did not work for it. They did not put anything into it. It just came to them as a matter of course. And what happened when Jeff Bezos decided to get rid of Mackenzie Bezos, or they were going to split or whatever, and she made $33 billion on that divorce. So when you see that is a testament to like marriage today. Is like this is the kind of payout that, I mean, maybe not by you're going to get that, but the world's richest man, that's the payout for his divorce. And the first thing out of anyone's mouth was, well, she deserves that. She was there from the beginning. That company would have fallen apart if it wasn't for her. Bullshit. If Amazon decided to divest and she's on the board, she's got, stocks and she's got investment into that company. If they decided to divest, she's not getting $33 billion if they do that. She's only getting that as a result of being married to the world's richest man. The same thing will happen with Kanye West. And I guarantee you, they'll say, well, Kim really lifted him up and inspired him to do all of his great creative works. And they'll try to like find some way to feed that in there. But what that is a distraction from the resource transfer that is divorce, and has been for a very, very long time. It's getting to the point now, like what this guy was saying before, is you can't even talk about it. Why is it that it's controversial that China wants to masculinize their young men? It's only controversial in a gynocentric social order, and they don't want you to talk about that. They don't keep divorce out of the conversation, keep these stats out of the conversation. You can say, well, women have this gender pay gap. We'll talk about that for a little bit, but don't talk about the stats for that. Anything that is unflattering to female nature or stats that belie what's really going on, you're not allowed to talk about that. You're a hater. In fact, they're Troy, I think in the UK, they're trying to pass a law right now that says if you are guilty of misogyny, it's a hate crime.
Yes, they're looking to extend that because there are certain counties where that is apparently the police will enforce that, and they're now looking to extend that across the whole UK.
Yeah, and it's so ambiguous and so subjective that if like any one of us on this panel, it could go to jail for misogyny.
Well, I was actually, that's a good point, because I was actually reading an article about that earlier, Rollo, and it is very undefined precisely what they mean.
It's funny, John, as far as this story is concerned. Yeah, I saw this posted on the same day that Jeff Bezos declared that he will ban books or like delete books off of Amazon that make homosexuality a mental disorder. I'm like, it's in direct conflict with this, which blows me away because I know he's probably dependent on some form of Chinese revenue.
No, they're not, because Alibaba, the whole thing, Jack Ma did in pure Chinese fashion, saw a very productive model and stole it. Mm-hmm. So no, they don't. I think it's just these people over in California they've become obsessed with this woke agenda, and it's counterproductive. Like, you should do the best job. You should not be like, wait, do we have a black guy? Do we have a brown guy? Do we have a gay guy? Do we have a guy who's fucking paralyzed from the waist down? Maybe he's not paralyzed enough. How about a guy from the neck down? You know what I mean? Do we have a guy in life support who talks through fucking his dreams? Like, I don't know what the hell what kind of psychotic path we're heading down. But again, if America was a stock, I'm shorting it, not like every single day. JC93 Canadian 699 super chat says, Rollo, how do you 1000% kill the beta? Even with my RP understanding, the BP conditioning lingers and conflicts. I'm not congruent with my new beliefs. This is a Rolo rant, so Rolo, go for it.
No, I'm not gonna rant. I'm just gonna
rant. Do it.
Get my book. That's probably the best. You have to live it out. I mean, it has to become part of you. You have to internalize it, and it has to be something. Here's the thing: is you're already on your way. You probably don't realize it, because if you've got the red pill lens right now, you're probably seeing this stuff go on around you, and it is in some ways affecting your behavior. You just don't see it just yet. Maybe your friends do, but you don't really realize it just yet. You're probably falling back on things that the blue pill, sort of taught you, but it takes time. It's not like something where you go, okay, I read the rational male, therefore I'm all done, and now I've killed the beta. No, you have to live it out every day, and you have to learn and see it live in real time. It's not something that it's like learning a martial art, right? You don't go from white belt to black belt in half an hour. It takes time. So keep that in mind. And there's really, it's just being hyper aware of the conditions that you're in right now. And then think about it this way. What would the old me do? And what would the new me do? What would my blue pill self, what would my blue pill understanding think of this situation? And how does my living in this new red pill paradigm, how do I interpret that situation differently than my old blue pill way of doing it? You keep that in mind, you start making those comparisons, and you'll get to the point where you don't make those comparisons anymore. And that's the point at which you're starting at the very least to internalize the red pill.
I love it. Very, very, very clip.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to add a little bit to that, because it's a great saying that I stole from one of my trainers. All right, one of my favorite trainers in the military and tactical circles. He says, "We don't rise to our expectations; we fall to our level of training." Okay, so this doesn't just apply to combat stuff. All right, we got a combat sports expert here. Everybody here has had a little dabble in it, or military stuff. This applies to like blue pill, red pill, alpha, beta type thinking as well. So what Rolo is talking about, living it. I mean, you're basically making every day a practice, and you're training every single day, and you're becoming aware and analyzing that. And in consultations with guys, one of the assignments I'll have them do is to challenge their beliefs and behaviors by when they respond to something in a way that we could just say is unfavorable, that they record that and they journal it, and then they challenge it. What belief did I have at the time, and then what would have been a better way of responding to that? But that's just one activity. But there's a lot of things we can do to train how to be better through rehearsals and mental fitness training to kind of get into your inner game and sort of rehearse how you're going to respond to the world around you and the mindset that you're going to condition yourself having with the world around you. When I talk about like apex mindset and I do different mental fitness stuff, it's behavioral more than like woo, wave a magic wand here and go do this. Like even like the hypnotherapy and guided meditation stuff is a lot of times the practical side of it is you're rehearsing or training like we do in sports psychology or like we did in combat, stuff where we would go and mentally rehearse or go over rehearsals of actions on an objective or whatever. So that, again, we're not going to rise. We want to be like less beta, more red pill. We're not going to rise to that expectation. You're going to fall to your level on what you've been practicing. So figure this, you've been practicing these behaviors for a long time, and you've been conditioning these behaviors for a long time. So you got to start that process of reconditioning, so doing what Roller said is 100% what you have to do. And there's ways to speed that up too. There's ways to speed that up and activities you can do to kind of get your mind right as you navigate life. And you're going to make mistakes and then correct and then correct and correct. And eventually, a year later, you'll be a lot better than you were a year prior, and so on and so forth.
It's no different than executing a supreme double leg takedown. It's going to take reps. You're not just going to read a book or watch a video of somebody doing it really well and then say, I got it. I'm going to be able to hit this double leg on anybody. It takes time, effort. It's a little pain too, because you got to let go of some of that conditioning, and it hurts a little bit. So you just gotta force yourself through it. And once you get through it, like, man, it took me about 1.5 years to really kind of feel my stride and incorporate all this stuff into the relationship things I was doing. And now I'm in a position where I'm always focused on me and my kids, and like girls are like something fun to play with on the side. I have my things I'm working on, and I feel much better. I'm much happier. I don't have to have like a girl in my life to feel like I need to be happy. And I have a lot of friends who still, you can sense that. It's like if they don't have a girl currently in their life, they feel like, oh, I'm sad now, or I'm lonely, or my life isn't as good. And if you can't look at your life as awesome, like my life is perfect right now without a woman in it, like you've got work to do.
Post roar clarity $5 super chat says crazy is bed, crazy in life. I think he means crazy in bed, crazy in life, right? Arnold Cash $2. Sorry, Troy, but is there a real crime on the UK? No, somebody in the chat was saying like they've banned men from going out past 6 p.m. That's just something you're talking about in Wales. It's not even fucking in England.
No, they haven't. They haven't. It was a comment that somebody made in the House of Lords the other day. It was a comment that a woman from the Green Party made in response to something that's happened just recently. A young lady got murdered, and but it's not a law. It hasn't been brought in or anything like that.
Let's see here real quick. We have another super chat. Victor Gonzalez, 999 super chat. You need to read history of the great conquerors, learn fighting, books on witty, rational male, lifting heavy, human chess, brotherhood. This is how you can get more alpha, or you can make money, make muscles, learn game. Basically, very simple, very simplified version there. Victor Gonzalez with the follow up, $14.99. Dad always told me you must dominate women, handle gun, fix your own car, put people in their place in inconvenient moments, work smart, and speak to your woman like a daughter. Learn to fight too. Great advice. That's probably the best advice I've ever read on Rule 0. But guys, listen, that's going to do it for us today here on Rule 0. We appreciate you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to all of our channels and everything. We're going to have Dude Party here on my channel, so hit that subscribe button right now. Also, subscribe to my Clips channel. I'm putting the link in the chat right now. What we're going to talk about Dude Party at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is how much sex is too much sex. And we're going to talk about how being too red-pilled can kind of put you in a position of like...
Only Sterling can speak authoritatively on that subject.
I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll talk about that. I'll send you some photos from what I
think
did
volumetrically he outclassed.
But, speaking about that, just how too much sex, there are things that come along with that. So we'll see you guys on Dude Party. Appreciate you for subscribing. Just give me about 30 minutes and we'll be back live on this channel. Until then, you guys have a wonderful day